Christmas. Hey, Captain Paul, how black guy boy? Christmas morning, liming with me friends and family, greeting everyone around, eating, dancing, getting down, spending we Christmas in Guyana, watching all the little children running up and down, playing excitedly with their toys, making sure we get we share of curry, goat and rum, shot the cards and dominoes with the boys. Yes, man. There's nothing like me home on Christmas morning. Everybody there soca dancing. Masquerade band coming down. Mother Sally prancing round. Spending we Christmas in Guyana. Merry Christmas! Drinking ginger beer, jumping, winding up the boomsy in and out. Sneaking in the kitchen to see what grandma cooking. Putting something hot inside me mouth. Ow! There's nothing like me home on Christmas morning. Garlic pork and black fruit cake baking. Plenty sorrel and mobby, ice apple and enough sweet tea. Spending we Christmas in Guyana. Ho, ho, ho! Merry Christmas! Hey, Captain Paul, how black guy boy? Hey, sure? Merry Christmas, boy! Ho, ho, ho! Christmas come, Marco and them boys are wrong, drinking rum and telling old time story. Neville Budan is the man, Christmas he does kill two wrong, we eating long roti with chicory. Knock the back, nothing like me home on Christmas morning. Good friends already gathering, eating lava meat well done, drinking wine and XM rum, spending we Christmas in Guyana. Welcome, boys. Cheers. On the plane, I'm drinking booze. Pilot never called Santa Cruz. Ingrid begging me to make a stop. She don't want no callaloo. Trinidad Pillow won't do it. Guyanese met MG and pepper pot for she. There's nothing like me home on Christmas morning. Liming with me friends and family. Greeting everyone around. Eating, dancing, getting down. Spending we Christmas in Guyana. Spending we Christmas in Guyana. Spending we Christmas in Guyana. Merry Christmas! Ho, ho, ho! There's nothing like me home on Christmas morning, liming with me friends and family, greeting everyone around, eating, dancing, getting down, spending we Christmas in Guyana, watching all the little children running up and down, playing excitedly with their toys, making sure we get we share of curry, goat and rum, chocolate cards and dominoes with the boys. Yes, man.
Yes, indeed, of course, a pleasant good night to all and sundry, east, west, south, south, central, our friends in Tobago, and wherever you are, streaming on the World Wide Web, a pleasant good day to you. Yes, welcome to the Wednesday edition of the Corridor Transformation. Of course, we have a bumper program for you. My brother, I should start with Guyana. Why? They don't have a problem for foreign exchange. They do not have a problem for foreign exchange, people. At one time, yes. And of course, we have a prime minister who just the other day, after, of course, the local government elections, are talking about just in August, the man turned and say, mocking, of course, the Guyana dollar. Mocking the Guyana dollar. Mocking, I tell you, Rowley was mocking the Guyana dollar. When somebody told him, well, listen, the NTA had more votes than they really got. He asked them if it's Guyanese dollar he's talking about. And guess what? We then learned that Trinidad businesses go to Guyana, get foreign exchange there in order to service their business in Trinidad. This Prime Minister is an ass and he is in Guyana right now, incidentally. But I thought it was important, of course, to focus on Guyana as far as a series on the whole question of foreign exchange, the shortage thereof, created by, of course, a myopic, insensitive, and of course, swindler or swindling government. Yes, rapscallions, and of course, total and absolute nincompoops for government. Yeah.
Good friends already gathering, eating lava meat well done, drinking wine and XM rum, spending week Christmas in Guyana. Well, ho ho ho! Christmas morning, liming with me friends and family, greeting everyone around, eating, dancing, getting down, spending week Christmas in Guyana, watching all the little children running up and down, playing excitedly with their toys, making sure we get we share of curry, goat and rum, chocolate cards and dominoes with the boys. Yes, man. There's nothing like me home on Christmas morning. Everybody there soca dancing. Masquerade band coming down. Mother Sally prancing round. Spending week Christmas in Guyana. Merry Christmas!
Here the next thing. The PNM, when they enter that Balise house, they get a notebook, a secret notebook, on how to thief the PNM way. And when you see NiQuan, and you're hearing NiQuan Ainsley Gill, the PNM favored boy, but now they're trying to ditch he. They're leaving he alone because NiQuan finally sink. It started at the World GTL in 2005, but right now, NiQuan gone through, car produce nothing, car pay its bills, owing more than 346 million US, plus they have to pay a former PNM independent senator $21 million for firing he and they paying him. They still owing workers 6 months salary. They ain't selling nothing. They can't pay back the loan, and Republic Bank, I'm telling you, to the shareholders of Republic Bank, all you have to ask the board of directors, the CEO and the directors of Republic Bank, one, how did NiQuan qualify? NiQuan or NiQuan, however all I want to pronounce it, don't blame the Douglas. I'm not Japanese, okay? How did NiQuan qualify for 120 million US loan from Republic Bank? You see, you citizens are shareholders in Republic Bank also.
Yes, indeed, of course. So once again, a pleasant good night to all and sundry, East, West, North, South, Central, in Trinidad, our friends in Tobago, and wherever you are, streaming on the World Wide Web, a pleasant good day to you. Yes, yes, indeed, of course, the Forex crisis continues. And of course, last night, we debunk and we see as cacophonous babblings. And of course, we ain't finished yet, because I want to show you not only what Rowley was saying as opposition leader before the 2015 elections, as we demonstrated last night or proved last night. You see, it's nothing but the truth. So let's not waste time. But I also want to show you and make the comparison. We'll have another video to express that, where of course what he said in the past and what is actually happening, and of course what he has said recently in the parliament. And you would see that really and truly, if Dr. Rowley was a sincere nationalist, a patriot, what he said then and what he said today, right now, when of course in the parliament on the question of the shortage of foreign exchange and the reasons for it, he ought not to have said that back before the 2015 general election. Ought not. Because it continues to be a situation where he must be exonerated as a prime minister and head of the PNM and the government between 2015 and now. He must be exonerated about the same things that he, of course, castigated in the UNC and Kamala Prasad Bisesa and or the partnership, if you want to call it that, between 2010 and 2015. I hope that I'm not confusing you, but of course, the man himself is in a perpetual state of discombobulation, confusion. The man is an enigma by himself, is a puzzle by himself. Of course, I don't want to use the word he's an ass by himself, because of course his quest for power clearly has caused him, of course, to shift diametrically his position on specific issues, particularly when they are on principle or on moral and ethical right and wrong grounds. Yes. Don't tell me I don't know that he was saying that he will not interfere with the subsidies when he was in opposition and seeking the office that he has now. Don't tell me I don't know that. Don't tell me I don't know by now that he was decrying, castigating, ridiculing, saying it is inhumane to have property tax when he was in opposition and before the 2015 general elections. Don't tell me I don't know. And today, not only has he withdrawn the subsidies once, twice, and more, but we have, of course, his Minister of Finance laughing at us and telling us that he raised it once or he reduced it once, the subsidies that is, so that gas prices and energy costs will rise in the country, and the cost of doing business as an input will also rise, whether it's transportation, whether of course are therefore impacting on the actual final cost of the commodities that are transported. And I'm talking here both in terms of physical commodities, whether it's sugar, salt, etc., as opposed, of course, to services such as maybe going to the doctor, going to taking your education, going to school, or going to work, etc. Those are services, and it cannot be classified as tangible or tactile as maybe a kilogram of rice or sugar or a liter of cooking oil. But all of them would have suffered the fate of increases as a consequence of removing the subsidies on gas and fuel in general in this country and his minister will laugh and say, ki, 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 ki. He raised it once and they said nothing, they riot, and therefore he will raise it again because they have not riot. In other words, telling us that we must riot for them to realize what is happening. But we don't have to riot. No, we are smarter than that. We will take our time. We will buy our time, because that is what we are doing. We are paying for it, and we are paying for it daily. We see it, of course, in the form of crime and criminality. We are seeing it in our youth graduating to a life of crime. We are seeing it in the form of violence in our schools. We are seeing, of course, the poor performance of our students at the C level, CXC, etc. We are seeing it, of course, on the roads to and from work. We are seeing the impact on entertainment. And entertainment, you have to be very careful, because it has what I consider to be an innocuous impact. That is to say, people want more entertainment now and will want more free entertainment, because they simply cannot afford. They cannot afford the regular, what I consider to be itinerary of entertainment opportunities, whether it be a calypso show, a soca show, going to the beach, having a football game, etc. And you would have noticed that the government, just as Maduro, literally has created a situation for those young people, encouraging them, of course, in nightly tournaments, in a situation where the security situation is at an all-time low, but encouraging that. When that failed, they then encouraging, of course, that these young people come up with, of course, a juve session from Friday night go right into Saturday morning, or Saturday morning go right into Sunday morning, that kind of thing. That is what is happening now. Reminiscent of what Maduro told his citizens after he said he won a questionable election, and that is Christmas come early. I want you to take note. But let's go. Only on the corridor, of course, you will hear that. So, of course, I want you to share. A pleasant good night.
Hello,
let's go straight to the lights. Pleasant good night.
Yes. What I want to say is,
yes,
I want people to be very smart, you know.
Yes.
Let they have their head in their body, be very smart. Because Rowley gone in that meeting in Guyana. Now, he gone there to show people that he want to meet with Mr. Narendra Modi. He's not racial.
Yes.
So that is to attract the Indian people. I am not no racist. But I'm telling you what this man doing, that is to attract the people to vote he. And this year, this year we go in, this man doing all kind of things. They're doing this, they're doing that. Why they didn't do all these things the other years? Eh?
Yes.
Why they didn't do all what they had to do year before last, year before that and all that? Why doing things this year? All the people, be smart. Don't let this stupid man fool all you. Because Granny they here and PNM didn't do nothing to the country for people. You hear? So all the boys, all the looking to see to save Trinidad and Tobago. That is what Chigan did in Canada. I don't know if you could remember the time when bread, what was the price of bread?
Yes.
And how people run out of Guyana on the Burnham.
That's right, yes. On the Forbes Burnham, that's right, yes.
Right. And the Prime Minister before Narendra Modi, I don't know if you observe what he do. He didn't do anything. And Modi go there. Look at what Modi doing. Eh?
Yes.
I mean, Modi working Eh? Look at the president of Guyana, he working.
That's right.
Look at
It's clear,
look at
it's clear.
look at the prime minister
conspicuous, yeah.
Barbados.
Yeah.
Eh?
Yeah.
This man didn't feel shame to sit down among them there. We didn't feel shame to sit down among those good people there.
No, he has no shame. It's about the maintenance, acquisition, and sustenance of power. It's about power. It's about the treasury of the country, full stop. So he can't feel shame. He's a typical bandit. He acts as a typical bandit, a swindler.
I don't like Putin.
Yeah.
Putin did not want to attend the meeting in India.
Yes.
He just didn't want to go to be among all the people. He feels bad. That is how we should have do. He has fit for them kind of place. Eh?
Yes.
And look at how he have in Trinidad. This country is a little country, West Indian region. They have oil,
Yes.
sugar, agriculture, it had. Eh? One of the wonder of the world, which is rich.
Yes.
Eh? And look at the condition PLM government how we live in this country, especially these old pensioners. What I hear they call it on the PNM program. I don't know how these people feel shame. Eh? As other than nothing in the hospital today, just like me.
Yeah.
When they go to the grocery, watch at pensioners.
That's
Yeah?
right.
Well, what are the ball great is the PNM and what are they talking this and that for? Or they're studying nothing. I telling people. I sending a message. Granny have no fear. Both UNC. And I want to tell Kamala, take that jack in your party and put him up on a seat. Don't study that Betty Pundit and those 5 of them in your party.
Yes, indeed. Go
Thank
brave.
you all. God bless all the boys. I know you're doing a good job.
Yes, indeed. All right, thank you very much. Thank you very much, senior citizen. People don't have to say granny, senior citizen. Because words of wisdom, of course, with age brings reason. And I want you to understand this is a senior citizen who understands the modus operandi or the idiosyncrasies or the pattern of behavior of Rowley. She is saying, in essence, he will go there, send back pictures of he and Modi shaking hand, etc., the Indian Prime Minister, who is expected to be in Guyana in order to, of course, engage in the CARICOM India Summit. I want you to first notice that it was not held in Trinidad. Trinidad, in a prior dispensation, would have been the place to hold that, because after all, it's we who held the first summit of the Americas among CARICOM countries. It's we who held the first CHOGM among CARICOM countries. I could be wrong, but I don't think there was a CHOGM or a meeting of the heads of state of Commonwealth countries in any other Caribbean country but Trinidad. CARICOM I'm talking about, but Trinidad. You can, those of you who are historians and follow these matters, you can correct me. So the place that has the, in other words, the experience and the infrastructure to have a big meeting like this, because of course India is considered to be the 7th largest economy in the world, replacing of course the United Kingdom. So therefore they are poised, and of course they are producing everything, whether it be information technology, IT. They are very good. In fact, in Silicon Valley, Indians are the people or the technical people of choice to be recruited in of course in the what is considered to be the mecca of IT technology in the United States. And of course they are engaged of course in military hardware and software as well. They're building helicopters, they're building fighter planes. All of that they are doing there. in spite of the fact that they have 1.3 billion people and they're therefore the most populous democracy in the world. Of course, the country that has the most amount of people in the world, of course, is China, 1.5, but it is not a democracy. So that is why I made the distinction in terms of democracy between China and India. But the fact is that that prime minister is to be in Guyana. And it's not by accident they choose Guyana. Not only Guyana has, of course, a historical antecedent like us in terms of the ethnic and the racial composition, but it is the largest, greatest emerging economy expected to grow in the 30s. The GDP expected to go in the 30s over the next 5 years or 10 years, as the case may be. But let's go to the lines. We give way to, of course, our callers. A pleasant good night. Welcome. Pleasant good. Sorry about that. A pleasant good night. Welcome.
Yeah, so how are you going?
Well, of course, as could be in the circumstance, fighting up and continue, of course, to carry on the good fight.
Yeah, well, here what happened, you know. I hear Granny did it. Right?
Yeah, go ahead.
But, you know, I went up. After I heard Granny making a contribution.
Yes. Granny's contribution, yes. I'd like to call her senior citizen, but go ahead.
Yeah. I Google, I watch Moody and Rufanari and all the CARICOM leaders, but I ain't see Rowley. I saw about 4 different videos on Google.
Rest assured. Let me tell you this. Rest assured, he will find a photo up to send back to Trinidad to try to hoodwink the Indian community here, not the African, the Indian community, that he has no animosity against Indians. That is what he will try to do in order to try to win them over to gain votes in the next elections. Of course, that will be an exercise in futility, but that is the kind of fella he is. But he will always, of course, always, of course, when he does that, he, like the ostrich, will leave, of course, his backside exposed, because the Africans are going to be saying, but this man telling us all the time, watch them Indians and them, and that is what he said. You're really kind of nice talk he coming back with. But go ahead, my friend. I just thought I should mention that.
But here's the spot. The Guyanese giving him an award. Finally.
Yeah.
Barbados giving a Mia Motley.
Yes.
He's going to get an award from Mia Motley. But I heard a lot of these CARICOM leaders, Grenada, Prime Minister, you know, but nothing but Rowley. I say, well, Rowley, like from home.
He has done nothing, even when he was chairman of CARICOM. I mean, and part of COVID was his portion. He was supposed to be responsible for cricket. He was supposed to be responsible for security. And cricket has had the greatest load than ever before historically. And of course, crime and criminality, in spite of the fact that he had a symposium utilizing our money, saying that, of course, crime is a public health matter, and therefore, you know, you have to be ridiculous as you can be. And he in effect saying, well, listen, a fella point a gun at you, it's fully loaded, and he fired, just find the nearest pharmacy, the nearest drugstore, and take a tablet, and of course, and that will go away. That is the kind of nincompoop we have as a purporting to be a prime minister. But go ahead.
But I believe that Mia Motley, they're giving that for his contribution with the COVID, with the vaccine and thing now. I want to believe that.
Yes.
I might be wrong, right? But you remember when we had the COVID, right? Yeah. And Barbados, we had to borrow a vaccine from Barbados because he didn't want to take it.
Well, in fact, they donated it. But his minister of health didn't know that. So he put his foot in his mouth. 2 feet. I shouldn't say foot. 1 foot. 1 foot will mean one. Feet will mean more than one. So he put his 2 feet in his mouth when he said, "But listen, India sent it to CARICOM, and of course Barbados was the recipient state or country, and then we were sent 1,500 doses. That time that time the Indian government donated to Barbados the AstraZeneca vaccine, and Barbados was kind enough, because Trinidad didn't do what Barbados did, that is to say go around and beg, because Rowley was telling us to beg for vaccine is an embarrassing thing, when in fact he knew that he couldn't get at all. And that is the danger that he is. And then of course the minister, having said that, midnight he had to come and apologize to Barbados, because Barbados was infuriated. They were vexed. How the hell we donated to Oli, and Oli so damn ungrateful, and he had overnight to apologize to the Barbadian. That is what transpired. No, they didn't lend me nothing. They donated it out of material of vaccine that was donated to them, out of the generosity of the Indian government at the time. And of course, the new trader didn't have any, so they sent 1,500 doses. Instead of course saying thanks, they say that somehow it was meant for Trinidad, and Barbados was just, of course, the entry pot, if you want to call it that, the place where you settle it out like a warehouse and then redistribute. Come on.
And before I make my exit,
yes,
remember the industrial court president, while she was on leave, the fire, right?
Repeat that, the mayor.
The industrial court president. When she went on leave, she was fired.
Oh yes. Orchestrated, orchestrated.
Deborah Thomas Felix.
Deborah Thomas Felix, yes.
Right. So you see what happened today with the port workers, right?
Yeah. I see that they got an injunction, an ex parte injunction.
Well,
they weren't part of it. Yeah. And they say that.
Felix is that.
But what is significant to me? What is significant to me in that whole scenario is that they were. I didn't know they were classified. They were not classified as essential workers, but they reclassified and say they are an essential industry. So they're not like doctors and nurses and so on. So they reclassify them, and then of course they went to the industrial court and get an injunction to, of course, have them stop their protest and their work stoppage and get back to work. And that is so until I think the 20th of January, they suppose, or 15th to the 20th of January, to make their respective case as to whether or not that should be sustained.
Yeah, but Deborah Thomas Felix is a workers-oriented kind of person.
Yeah. She would have dismissed the tail, and they orchestrated it.
So only them, because remember what
but that can't,
when Arawi and Rowley.
Yeah, but you see
when Arawi and Rowley were contemplated to make a order for people to go and take the vaccine. If they can't take the vaccine, they can't work. You remember that?
Yeah, that's right. Yes, all public servants. And I trust that all public servants remember that.
And she put them on a gear,
Yeah, in fact, he was saying, don't stay home. Stay home is not sufficient. If you're staying home, you're fired. You're fired. You are fired yourself. All of that, he said. It's only because the virality of the disease of the COVID virus was lessening and lessening. Why, of course, he abandoned that. But if it was potent as it was, that caused him to call, of course, even the state of emergency, he would have implemented that. So I trust that public servants not only remember that, but show him no mercy at the polls. No mercy for the PNM at the polls.
Yeah, but not only that, the 4% that he ordered they had to take it or lose their job. You remember that?
The what?
Take 4% or lose their job.
Yeah.
Take 4% or lose their job. That's what you were saying.
Yeah. Take it or leave it. Take it or leave it. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what this man is across the board. Everybody 4%.
Yeah. And then of course come back now for the new session that is on us now. He now says, of course, again only 5%, as if they are the CPO or they are the trade unions that are supposed to be negotiated on behalf of their employees or their members. And I want to say as well, having said that, because here it is, we have a situation now where there was a 14% unnegotiated during the Kamala Prasad Bisesa administration, and the union is saying let us start at 14%. The government is saying, listen,
But
the CPO was not involved. Listen, the Lord moves in mysterious ways, his wonders to perform, you know, and therefore, as the Greek will say, who the gods wish to destroy, the first send them mad. So the government is now saying that the CPO wasn't involved in that, so therefore that must be quashed. That is not valid. But guess what? But guess what? The Lord made them in the budget offer 5%. Well, the CPO wasn't involved either. Not so?
Okay.
Right.
Of course. But
Right.
before I go, I see so much.
Yeah, go ahead quickly because we have some other callers. Go ahead.
Yeah, but one more thing.
Yeah.
You know, Rowley getting his full, his salary will be his full pension, he and the president. I said his salary will be his pension money when he going home, you know. He getting his full salary as his pension, you know that?
Yeah. His full salary as his pension, yes.
Yes,
If we are to take
salary as his pension, he and the president.
according to the
And he's telling the same people that the country have no money. This man is a wicked man, boy.
Very wicked, very wicked. We will have some opportunity to focus on those things specifically. But tonight I want to also, of course, look at foreign exchange. But thank you. Thank you very much. Yes, caller, go ahead, Mr. Faizabad, go ahead.
A pleasant good night to you, Mr. Lennox, and all the listeners.
Yes, a pleasant good night to you as well, my friend.
And to share, let's share, and to, as they say, all our foreign listeners and our new CARICOM brothers who are joining this show, welcome. So, Mr. Lennox, I will be brutal to you.
No
you
problem.
only had 10 more months, and here we're going on. I see you and your PRO and your CRO and your chairman, all are fighting, all of opposition, and all the hiding, all the dirty living. You go ahead, Mr. Lennox. I want to know when you will call the internal election. You can run, but you can't hide. Let we, your supporters, let we see what you have. Because Tobago don't run you like a bubuli out of town. But anyway, just imagine, we are the capital, the energy capital of the Caribbean. And the golden place to be. But the Indian Prime Minister passed we so straight and gone down in the slum, quite in the bush, to talk to our president. We have nothing to offer India. But I didn't see Jindal. I didn't see none of them boys and them in the summit. But you see, when Rowley head was too big for his body, and he tell himself, the dragon is coming to town. But he didn't realize Trump is in waiting to see what he will pull the dragon tail. But now you will see that we have nothing in this, our energy revenue is based only on 3 companies. And India cannot get in here because Shell is not going to sell to India. And you see, is a conglomerate of energy company formed under Rowley. And you see, when he wanted to tell Irfan Ali that he's nothing. Remember, we had an energy summit in Trinidad, a conference. And then, now this is the follow-up. But this trade mission is an India CARICOM trade mission, you know. Understand it. This is where the meet, and look where they meet, in Guyana, and not Trinidad, or neither Barbados. So that is to tell you, the Prime Minister went and killed 2 birds with 1 stone. He went to Guyana to make sure that India have a supply of oil, so that when they build a trading dock, because in Brazil, after he go, he will sign for his share of oil. So it is more easier to get it on this side than up from the Middle East. So now back to the foreign exchange. I would like to know if Rowley and Limor is going to get back the $400 million US from NiQuan. and who will be held accountable for it. And if it will be a next Malcolm Jones scenario. So you see now, it has some people that talk and they didn't realize that our political leader, Ms. Kamla Prasad Bisesa, when she gave incentive by way of corporation tax on the energy giants and them to drill for the last 9 years, Rowley and them suck it, enjoy it, and they thief it out. Now we're talking about this 10 years only they negotiate for. How much he negotiate and how much new gas or new equity of foreign exchange stream bring into this country. So now we missed the boat again, once again, Mr. Lennox, because India market is very good. But you see, we already have a few corrupt men from India doing work in Trinidad. So you see, the Prime Minister down there, Moody, but Rowley talking to he talking to businessmen individual. Have a nice night, food for thought. So yes, once again, and I hope that the senior citizens and the Petrotrin retirees come out and let we go by the EDC. Good night, until I call you again.
Yes, indeed, indeed. The only comment I will make, though, is that your caricature and your attempt to connect me with some decision-making in an organization that clearly is a criminal enterprise called the PNM, I beg to disassociate, right? So, no way you could get me, of course, to attach myself to the PNM and its decision-making. It is an organization that has collapsed. It has, of course, run afoul of its own constitution, even though Rowley would have come in boasting that he's a Democrat, and he, of course, freed up the one man, one vote scenario instead of the delegate scenario. What has happened is that he has now, of course, firmly taken charge as a dictator, as a despotic, as a totalitarian, as an autocrat over the PNM, and of course, as the information is imposing, of course, Stuart Smallpin Young to, of course, be his successor. That and a pink donkey you will never see. Not those persons who have worked hard and worked hard in that organization. A pleasant good night. Pleasant good night.
Yes, good night, Mr. Lennox Smith.
Here. I just want to let my people inside know that once it is on the system, do not answer the phone, otherwise we'll have some conflict. But go ahead, my friend.
Yes, Mr. Lennox Smith.
Yes.
I want to ask a question because I don't know how many summits this CARICOM group had before this one, you know?
Yeah.
This one is
I think it
second,
might only been one
third,
with India. With India.
Yeah.
I think this might be the first one, or they might have had one before. But I think this is historic. I think this is the first one. At least here,
all
here
right.
in the Caribbean, yeah.
What I'm saying is, we just forget in 9 days. People excited because, well, it's this Indian man and all this thing and Guyana. They like him front alley, right? They host it in Guyana. When something starts with these things, they just make the wrongs. Each country, once it continuing, will get to host it. Then it will have a chair. A country they will choose, you know, might have a voting or something will shake, I don't know. But each country will get a chance to chair it. This year, Grenada chair it. It was host in Guyana. Another time around, it could host here. Do you understand? So, Imran Ali, right, looking to sell oil. He now into that and his market, he will market that with Moody. Moody need oil because Moody used to buy oil from Venezuela. He need a lot of oil, but due to how this man sanctioned, they had to pull out. Good. So Modi does get his oil from Russia. Modi is a puppet. All this praise for Moody and CARICOM and this in front of the no stupid man. When he see certain thing, he ain't gonna look to mess with that man. Right? Because that man Moody is a big waste of time. He causing problem in the world. Good? He don't give no decision, anything to stand up for. He did like if he dreaming. What him good? He's a dreamer. Big bacchanal the other day in Russia with BRICS. They had the summit. Lula da Silva from Brazil, one of the head countries in BRICS, didn't want the gang man in it because the gang man next door want to join. He self, he bold-faced, he don't afraid nobody. He went quiet Russia. Right? And big bacchanal over there, they didn't, this man, the head nation, Brazil, didn't want him in it. Right? When they had to talk and discuss to get he out and to don't have him in it. What does Moody say? He is a big member in it. The big developed country, that thing in that is Russia. Russia has say. All of them has say. What the hell he do? Because the Brazilian man want to get away from Maduro. Everybody want to think from this man where win this election. When the gang man start to quarrel, I'm telling all this something, this is new. When the gang man start to quarrel and get on so, Russia had to coax, Putin had to coax the Brazilian man. And they had to end up putting him back inside because he and the Russian man is real good friend and the Chinese man. Other countries want to join it, have other countries in it too, like Egypt, and Iran, and I'm telling all of these people is an international mafia. That Moody man, it have more I could tell you about. All you need to watch people. It was the same thing with this CARICOM thing that they hold here, right? When I show you, they only come in to eat up and drink up, and that thing is a big set of talking. I said that this and that and is nothing. These CARICOM people don't know what they want. Them is a big waste of time. Don't forget them. We don't trust them. They had to host in Guyana. Ali is a man. He's very courteous. They had to come in his place. He hosts them, blah, 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 and he just had to do that. But he's not a stupid man. He's not with them with the foolishness. All them things is set up. It's set up. One voice. That is CARICOM. We don't have no say. Whenever it's to say anything for we, it's one voice, all of them. Them is a big dangerous gang. I don't want to hear nothing about them. Wait and all they will see, and nothing coming out of that. I glimpse it, and I just don't even want to see them. Have a good night.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. But of course, we have a duty and responsibility, of course, to put things in perspective where, of course, it might be a little gray area or fuzzy or misty, if you want to call that. Suggesting, of course, is not clear, it's not pellucid. Summit, as far as nations are concerned, has two meanings. You can have a summit, like a summit of the Americas, where you have a regular meeting that changes, of course, locations based on the membership. The different members accommodate. But there are one-and-done summits as well, where heads of state meet, but it may be for a one-and-done arrangement. For example, the summit of between the CARICOM and Canada, for example, held in Canada, that is usually the type of summit where you have a one-and-done arrangement. Of course, they will have follow-up with their technical people, but the heads would meet for that purpose. Another example, of course, is when the head of North Korea met with Donald Trump. Remember that? That was a summit as well. But you don't expect that they will be meeting on a regular annual basis. So I'm saying to you that this summit here appears to follow the same pattern. It's just that Modi decides to meet in Guyana for a specific reason. And of course, Guyana has oil, and he is an oil gobbling nation, depending on oil, doesn't produce as much as he is consuming, and of course, believe that he could strike a deal, but at the same time, the whole of CARICOM, of course, comes in because, let's face it, that will be the seventh, let's say, most powerful economic force on the planet maybe within the next 5 to 7 years. But let's go to the lines, and then, of course, we will extrapolate a little more, just to make sure that we are clear as to what a summit is, as opposed to a regular meeting on an annual basis, moving from country to country. There are two concepts, and there are two specific circumstances. And the one in Guyana right now is similar as to the one in Canada. Let's go to the line. A pleasant good night.
Hey, Lennox.
Hey.
You hear me?
Yes, go ahead, loud and clear.
All right. You know the other night when I talk?
Yes.
When I said when I meet you, food.
Yeah.
At the end of that strike.
Uh-huh.
A man want to eat off the head, you remember?
Yes.
I wonder what you have to say no. Right? Let me tell you something, Lennox. That was a move on the chessboard, eh? But they made you really on a mood. And that strike done, and they get no result, eh? They get any result, eh? They get no result, eh? And he said, trying to tell my teacher like all kind of things on my key program, but you see, he didn't want me to Gregory Aboud. I might tell listen to him, but that was, by the time he got to Gregory Aboud, was a foregone conclusion, that strike done.
Yeah, you did say that that appears to be one of compromise at the expense of the workers. I think that
right.
is what the essence of your argument was at the time. Yes.
And it happened.
Yeah.
And somebody want to call and want to chastise me.
Yeah, but remember I said on the on the ground report this morning that we anticipated that the government will go to the industrial court for something like what they did at the junction to force the workers back to work. But go ahead.
It only happened because if he had refused to be with Gregory Aboud, I would have listened to him talking to my kids tonight.
Yes.
But because he went and talked to Gregory Aboud, I had everything done.
yeah. You did so. You did. You was should I say, demonstrating foresight and very preemptive in that regard, and you were clear in that regard, and it has turned out to be what you anticipated. Yeah.
Then after I move on the chessboard, boy.
Yeah, definitely.
My cousin was in chess chapter at this country for 26 straight years.
Yeah.
Right? And he wanted me to play, come and run the game. He said, I said, watch me. The only chess I study, I'm young years old, I had time for that.
Yeah.
But it was clear to see when he did everything done.
Yeah.
So I want to hear what he call that chat, tell me we have to say no.
Yeah.
If the only man trying to clear himself on my key program, I watching him, I look at this man away. The next thing I want to tell you is this. I see the president called him from San Juan or wherever it was again.
You say what?
I called him this morning on the ground report.
Yes.
He called him on your program too and said he suggested that Jack Warner
contest the seat in Diego Martin West, challenging, of course, Rowley. Yes.
That's a waste of time, Lennox.
Waste of time. All right, go ahead. Let me hear your argument.
Jack Warner has to go into Lapuna and fight.
All right.
But when I champion into Lapuna.
Are you saying that Rowley is too well ensconced there? He is too. It will be difficult to beat him there, and you want a clear victory for anybody of the stature of Warner to challenge him there?
Yeah, Warner is city kind of I live in the Martin. That's where I grew up.
Okay.
Actually, see that people around there?
Yeah.
They have a mind of their own boy. All of them ever go to them.
Something like Laventil, and I am saying that we may get a surprise from Laventil this time around. But you're very conservative, man. You're playing your cards close to your chest, 1
I
and
was
2.
not much. I was
You're not going to be
champion poker
fooled.
player, you know.
You're not going to be fooled because history speaks for itself, I suppose.
Right?
Yes.
That's why gambling all day.
All right.
Jack Waller will have a better chances than if you go back.
You're looking at chances. All right, I hear you. Yeah.
Right? You could ask Andy, that's something wrong with that different Digo boy.
And the same thing in Lavatil.
So that's what I'm telling you.
All right. All right, my friend.
I Jack have to stay if Gamma put him up.
Yes.
He has to fight in Tulapuna.
Yes.
And I believe that caller, they put him up to encourage him to go and fight in the Gomati. He will have no chance.
Yeah.
Right? Jack will have a real good chance in Buddha.
All right, I hear you. All right. You're not being as harsh as that caller to put the man in the lion's den because he ain't no Daniel.
Nah, I hear
you, my friend. All right, but I'm sure that they're listening and there may be counter arguments for that. Because Jack by himself, of course, is a tower of power, so people may well gravitate to say it could be a toss-up and a good contest, and Jack will well come out.
Let me go by the historical facts now.
Yeah.
Tulapuna, it was always PNF. Moving Assam win that seat. Right?
Yeah.
So
you're saying that it's easier for Jack there. Because, in other words, you want Jack in the parliament for sure. And therefore, don't give him anything that may thwart or in any way reduce that assurance or that possibility. I hear you, my friend. All right.
Yes, let's go to Lapuna. Assam region to Lapuna for Bande.
Yeah.
Jack could reach to Lapuna for Kamla.
Okay, I hear you, my friend.
I could tell you, ask Andy.
Yeah.
People out there that stubborn by.
Yeah. All right. Let's see. I mean, as I said this morning, is about circumstance and so on. I remember Yetming boasting that he was the campaign manager and the strategist for the NAR and caused them to win the elections. But he couldn't win any. But he was there for the other elections and he couldn't win a thing. So I have concluded that circumstance, situation. What is happening at that moment, that slice in time, may create, of course, the revolution that was, of course, the NRI win in 1986, and may well be the same scenario in 2025.
Yeah, but not with Jack and you,
I hear you, my friend. I hear you. All right. Okay then. Yeah, bye-bye. Yes. Yes, indeed, people, of course. And I want to, at this juncture, to let you know, do not be distracted by the PNF distraction. Let's get that clear. Rowley is going to use the Guyana experience, even though he may be on the sidelines, to give the impression in Trinidad that he is a major or was a major player there. And that is on top of the other distractions that they have conjured up. We will talk about that after this call. Pleasant good night. Welcome to the corridor. Welcome to the corridor.
Smith.
Yes.
Are you hearing me clearly?
Loud and clear.
Loud and an echo.
Loud and clear.
I will still low the volume.
All right.
Mr. Lennox Smith.
Yes.
When I first called, I said that the summit is held there in Guyana. They host it.
Yes.
Of course, within years, that is not something on a yearly basis. Maybe in the next 3 years, 4 years, I don't know how they will do the thing. It will be held somewhere else. So you repeat something, but you discuss it in a way as if, I don't know, it will be held in another country after years. They're going there to discuss. I explained that they're going and try something.
Yeah, but remember, you did not say that. You did not say those specifics. So I didn't have
to read and spell for you to tell you it will be held within 2 to 3 years.
Yeah, but I have to read and spell for those out there who don't know like you. So that is why I did what I did. I am a professional teacher, so I can tell you that if I was listening to you and don't know the process,
Mr.
I would
is
not.
big people
Yes,
they're
I will not.
supposed to know that simple.
No, they're
That's
supposed
simple.
to. Is not.
The
Does not mean
callers
they
you
know.
have
Right.
to.
So
they
don't feel
could
know how. Don't
explain
feel know
to.
about that.
Nah,
that was merely to expand and
I
explain.
know
Yeah,
it'll
yeah.
take years. Some
Okay.
summits will take 3 years.
No, but
5
I wasn't
years,
targeting
however they swing
you.
the thing.
I wasn't
I
targeting
even
you.
show you that. I show you that in time to come, it could be held here because people looking at how it wasn't held here, even you too. So I'm showing them no feel how in time to come it will reach our shores.
No, but I
You
said there was.
understand?
Yeah, but
And
remember, I said there are two
also,
types of
said-
summits. There are two types of summits. You didn't say that, so I had to explain
No,
that
I
to them.
don't. I ain't going through that. It's
But
big
right,
people here
so
when
it's
they
my
know
job
something, let them
to
look
it's
it
my
up.
job to do that, Miss Arima. It's my job to do that because people would feel that next
Also,
year another thing will happen and so on. So it may not happen
They
at
have
all
to do
again.
them
Yeah,
things.
yeah.
They go there to discuss things. Moody interested in oil, I say that.
Yes.
Moody interested in oil. I explain why, because he used to get a lot of oil from Venezuela. But due to the sanctions, he getting oil from Russia. And these people who talking on the chat and all of that, they don't know the man.
Yeah,
thing
but
is,
I
he
didn't
from
touch
India,
that, you
you
know.
know.
I didn't touch that.
He
Listen
from
to,
India, but they're watching. They know certain things about Moody.
yeah,
Don't
but I
get
didn't
tied
touch
up.
that. I didn't touch that. Don't you know? I touched
No,
what
you
is a
ain't touch
summit.
that part now.
Right, what is
They're
a
talking
summit?
about
And there are two types.
India
That's all I
is
said.
this, and India is that. That is
Yeah.
not the point. They're good in technology, blah, 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 but we have to watch Moody.
Yeah, but you said
don't
that and you
jump
said
to
it
that,
very
man.
clear, so I didn't have to touch that.
You understand?
You explained that very, very, very good. So
Yeah,
notice, I didn't touch that.
I had to get in the why want to get in the people head who want to hear will hear, and who don't want to hear will hear.
Yeah.
Right?
All right? Yeah.
I never wrong, you know. I watching the geopolitics and I know this man. And as I told you all, Infant Ali is not a stupid man.
Yeah.
This summit, I've asked first if it's the first or second because I wasn't paying attention because I don't be interested in these CARICOM people. Them is set up.
Right.
I know that is a whole setup
What
thing and they can't catch Ali.
You're using this wrong to talk over where say in the first one or what? You're trying to open up the head and bust open the head to put that in.
Repeat what you say. I ain't hear you.
I say you're using this second opportunity to repeat what you said in the first in terms of those matters because that is clear. You said that already.
I say it already and I want to make it clear
All
that
right, okay.
we must not be excited about Moody.
Okay, good.
They don't know who Moody really is.
All right. Okay.
And as I said, to take time and they will find out. Just take time.
Yes.
Even with the summit that they held here, after we get to see what it is with these CARICOM heads, I even say we just forget in 9 days. Don't lose track. Focus.
Yeah. Yeah.
Waste of time.
All right. Thank you very much for that continued clarification, which was very, very, very clear. So once again, people, all I did was to show that there are two types of summit. But I'm glad that you mentioned the one with the crime and health. Again, that may never happen again. But you have the technical people who will be communicating from the different participatory countries over the years to formulate some kind of plan or initiative coming out of that exercise. But to say that it's going to happen in another country and so on, in this case, it will not happen on. But if it does, it has to be from a different perspective, and the whole complexion of the exercise may have to change. But to say it is a fixed, no. And that is the point I was making, that there are two types, where you have regular, and of course over time, every year, 2 years as the case may be, as opposed to a one and done, and that's it. And this summit appears to be one of the one and done summit, as was the case in Canada, where technical people will do the following up. All right? I just want to make that clear to those who don't know or may be confused. A pleasant good night.
Lennox, good night. Lennox, who's that lady who just talked? I just turned on the program. Who's that woman who just talked from Arima?
Yeah, Miss Arima, yes.
Yeah, tell Miss Harima she's a Mobilang. She talks a set of rubbish. I'm watching Moody and they watching Moody for what? He's a good looking man, that's why they watch him.
I hear you.
Anyway, she talking a set of bull crap. I tell you that, I'm from Orlando, Raj. She talking a set of bull crap. Let me tell you something, the man economy is going at 7%
That's
a
right.
year. Economy is going faster than every economy in the world. So what are you watching? Yeah, I think she's right. She have a right to say watch Moody, how fast economy is growing, how well he's doing in India. So we should take pattern and Trinidad too. Yeah, she's right. She's right. Sorry, I take back that. She's not talking bull crap. She's talking good sense. The demand economy is growing as faster than any economy in the world. Right? And when she talk about what's with he ain't want nothing from Trinidad. Right?
Yeah.
He don't want nothing from Trinidad. We want things from Trinidad from he. He don't want nothing from us. He could help us. He gave us vaccine that we already didn't take it. Everybody else take it except him already. So tell Miss Harima sometime, you know what? Keep her opinion to herself. That's the best remedy for she. Because his father want that anywhere this man go, he's been treated like a king. They treat that man like a king. You know why? No matter India have 1 billion people, I will tell you one thing, Lennox, and I tell you I'm 62 years old, I'm not young.
Okay.
That country, India, have never asked no other country in the world for food or for help. They never ask nobody. What they help themselves and they get themselves out. Because if you remember history, which I know, the British stole every single thing from India and leave them like a pauper, like Lavanti. You leave them like Lavanti, the English people. You know that. Steal everything from England. Okay? They steal trillions of dollars from England and leave the country in pauper. But you know what? The people believe in themselves, they will build themselves. That's why everybody does watch India and anywhere that man goes, anywhere he goes, the prime minister of the country, the president of the country, they treat that man with respect and dignity because the man is what he's doing for his country. He built his country and he help people and he give them stuff. He know his country. There's people say backward. But I'll tell you something. In a few years, Lennox, if there will be the third powerful country in the world. They will bypass Russia. They will bypass Korea. They might be just behind either China or maybe just behind America and China or maybe past one of them too. Imagine this. Let me tell you one. Imagine this. America took $1 billion to send a rocket to the moon. You know how much India took? It took India $86 million to send a rocket to the moon and land it.
And on the dark side. where,
and on the dark side that you can't see.
Where nobody really focuses.
You see the thing about I'll tell you something. And I tell Andy this the fella from New York, I just call him Idi Amin Dada nephew. Okay, that's me, I just call him that. But I'll tell you something. Donald Trump could insult black people how much he wants. He insult black people about eating this and cats and dogs. He insult the Spanish people about how the country rubbish and all kind of things. People say he will never, ever raise his voice and say anything about Indians. Woman the ball curry, the cook curry in the White House, and then what would the man marry? Vance married an Indian woman. Right, the vice president to be married an Indian woman. He will say anything, but he would never talk about Indian people. But you see, he will talk about black people, Spanish people, other race, but not Indian people, Lennox. I'm telling you. So tell Idi Amin Dada and everyone to talk a set of rubbish in the quality radio station and talk about. And Rowley, I keep telling all Rowley taking the same pattern. Rowley will eat the crap we vomit. Okay?
Yes.
Because
Okay.
he'll go back to body and beg him for stuff again. That guy have no respect and he have nothing in himself, Rowley. So we have to find a way, Lennox. Have to find a way how to get rid of them.
Of course. And this is one of the ways we are doing by this nightly discourse, bringing ideas that would have not been thought of before, because nobody can boast of being the repository of all information, all ideas, and therefore with such a what I consider to be a synergy, you can of course eventually figure out a formula to of course treat with this man who clearly doesn't want to leave office voluntarily.
Yeah, and one more thing. I mean, I'll tell you something. If a man called me, I am an Indian, okay? I'm 100% Indian. Just like you're 100% African. We
Yes.
are 100%. If a man insults me and my race, Lennox, I'm telling you, I will never speak good about that person. A man cannot insult you on your race. Because I'll tell you something. I don't, the reason I don't insult black people because my sister is a black woman. Okay, my brother married a black in America. My brother married a Portuguese in America. My brother married an Indian from India in India. Okay, because
Yeah.
all of us live abroad. But I'm telling you, and I have a lot of white people in my family. My sister married to a white man. My brother-in-law married to a white woman. And Lennox, you don't insult people. If a man insult me, I will never talk to that man about it ever again. Because that man insult black people. He insult the world. He insult what's happening. And yet the man will kiss booty butter. Okay? That's
right.
what he did. So we get rid about that man, you have to. That man is
Definitely. I mean, the man is despicable. He's a misogynist. He's clearly a racist. He's a sexist as well. I mean, he is no good for the office of prime. No example, no exemplar, and no, of course, motivator, which is even worse.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That man, I have a lot of
he doesn't inspire anything. He doesn't inspire anybody or anything.
No,
He's just about himself. Yeah.
Yes, no initiative, no zeal, how excited to come to the country.
Yeah. That kind of leadership is not is not significant, or should I say, is not the kind of leadership that is required for a Trinidad and Tobago in 21st century, current Trinidad and Tobago. Yeah.
Yeah, one more thing before I hang up. I'll call it tomorrow. Let me tell you something.
Yes, no problem.
Tell Arima that this man they call Modi. Listen, I watch live TV all the time in my phone when I work.
Well, when you made your point, you made your point. So you made your point. I'm sure everybody heard it.
This man, any part of the world this man go, man.
Yeah.
People are lining up in lines and lines.
Oh yes. There's a big Indian diaspora. Yeah, I agree with you.
So today, I'll talk to you tomorrow.
All right, thank you very much for that dimension. I disagree though that to ask Ms. Arima to keep her thoughts to herself. I say no. She should be allowed to express herself, and of course, it's because of that very expression you have been able, of course, to formulate a counterbalance to it, and therefore we are more enriched intellectually from the discussion. Not the recrimination part of it, but the discussion, the material that would have come out that we could now discern and say this is what we should go, what we could go with, this is the direction we should go, etc. because of those kinds of discussions. All right, so I am in total disagreement that she should keep her thoughts to herself. No, Miss Arima, you share it with us, and of course we will merely have to, of course, extrapolate, add, take away, and at the end of the day, all of us benefit from those kinds of open discussions. A pleasant good night, Mr. Faizabad. Welcome.
Yeah, good night again, Mr. Lennox.
Yes.
Mr. Lennox.
Yes.
Now, I will take 2 seconds. I will first humbly apologize that you didn't call the eternal election, because next thing you start to sneeze and cough again. I humbly apologize that I want you to call election first.
Yes.
Okay, so you will be my lobbyist. Mr. Lennox, now, Kid Rowley went down to South Africa in Ghana. And then after a year, he make a trip to India with a delegate, right? And then he pay a lobbyist to meet with the same Prime Minister who in Guyana. He came back to Trinidad and he said he met with some of the top businessmen, right? Because he
they had discussion, and they will be coming to Trinidad to discuss the deals and them. Okay, you remember that? Or you think I've said
he
anything?
went India. He went India when he came back. Yeah, okay.
Right. But everybody know he went India, right?
Yeah.
We're on the same page. Right. Now, before he trip to India, there was lobbying the Caribbean people to come together, the heads of CARICOM, for the single market and economy and trading bloc, to go to Biden to get the Dragon Deal gas a license, right? So that is where all the nearly internal in CARICOM. So Raleigh went India, but it had a same time the heads were meeting to discuss and then crime and cross-border criminality and to deport back criminals and extradite criminals of the Caribbean, right?
Yes.
Under one common unity, right? Now, while all that was going on, Mr. Irfan Ali had made a trip to the motherland, to India.
Yeah.
And he had sat down with the Prime Minister at the time, Mr. Moody, right? And had discussed certain investment opportunity in Guyana and to do trade, right? So that he went on a trade mission to India on a visit, right? On the invitation.
Official provincial visit said that on the invitation of the government of that country,
Right. So after that went, now it had election in India. So now the Prime Minister, who is presently Mr. Moody, had regained his power again, right?
Yeah.
So he is on his way to Brazil with the Brazil government, right? But he made a stop over into Guyana on a 2 days visit. So since they had the trading bloc and it's things of interest of food security for the Caribbean under the Guyana initiative, because Guyana will be the food basket, to secure food security to the Caribbean, and each Caribbean island sign on an agreement to producing food, where Guyana went out in front of us and started to produce corn, wheat, soya, and other products which we make up on the world market. But do you know, I'm not calling any name or lambasting anybody. Do you know, Mr. Lennox, that today there's 7 memorandum of understanding was signed in Guyana and exchange?
I'm not surprised based on the agenda, based on the schedule
purpose.
of the for the purpose of the summit. Yeah, I'm not surprised.
Right.
I expect that memoranda will be signed. In conclusion, but go ahead.
Right, and it didn't. Now I stand to be corrected on this part. This part didn't say CARICOM. It said Guyana. Guyana Energy, Guyana Education, Guyana Agriculture, Transportation, Infrastructure and Utilities, Medicine, and Healthcare. Now, being that they want to manufacture vaccines and different project what it is doing in India of different cold and viruses and different strains.
Yeah, well,
Guyana
India is, in fact, is considered to be the vaccine capital of the world, really.
Right. So the technology design in all different, the 7, is that Guyana will be a part of it, right?
Right.
So Moody come, and the whole trip is about oil and securing oil security for his nation. And he's going to Brazil to sign and to finalize a deal in same oil, corn, because China, right, is trying to boycott now United States in soybean production, right? And yes, if one want to watch and say he's a villain,
while I was talking to you, Mr. Lennox, in your studio, I went across the Balize house and had coffee. Right?
You're
Because
still trying your best to link, attach, connect.
No, I was in your studio talking to you.
To Balize house. Go ahead, my friend. I will indulge you.
And I went to Balize house and had a cup of coffee.
Right.
Because when Moody went to Russia and China and Russia and Brazil, the signing on, right, with the European, he went to America and meet Biden on the lawn, right? And he was welcomed with open arms. So the trading bloc with China, India, and all of them is different with the India and the North America.
Yeah.
So these fellas and them in Guyana now, they are directly involved in Guyana, investment in Guyana. So the CARICOM, being that we were one people, will have to say that what we have to offer or what we would like to do trade as a trade mission in the Caribbean, right? So we had the opportunity on the invitation of His Excellency Irfan Ali, right, to have a single Caribbean and economy to show that we are one people, one Caribbean, so we meet together as one. So tomorrow that meeting will be taking place before he leaves to Brazil. Right. So no, what I talk about there, that didn't say that the revenue and the shortfall of the foreign exchange and why it is India is not being investigated and why it is Rowley is getting a free pass to talk a heap of nonsense and say that the landlords did ask for investigation. So we, the people, are being suffered still, spit on, and defecated on, and yet still we can't get up and say it's enough is enough. So, Mr. Lennox, I hope I try to bring you back to your video and your thing, because with Guyana being the food basket, we will be the fertilizer capital. Have a nice night.
Yes, my friend. Yes, my friend. Of course, quite a mouthful, quite a handful, quite a headful. But of course, we can, of course, should I say, gingerly navigate through the many issues, because you talk about geopolitics, and one of the issues clearly is that Guyana is not a member of BRICS, not a member of the BRICS coming together. India is, however, and I wasn't aware that he was going to Brazil, but that to me is common sense, because Brazil is a member of the BRICS family. Of course, BRICS started with BRI. Hello, good night. Pleasant good night. But let me just finish this. Yeah, BRICS, of course, started with, of course, Brazil, Russia, South Africa, and India. Right? So it started there, and of course, so one would have expected that a trip to this part of the world will certainly include for the Prime Minister of India going to Brazil as original member of BRICS. Let's go to the lines. A pleasant good night.
Yeah, good night, Lennox.
Yes, good night to you.
I couldn't help but overhear somebody comment about Moody coming living in there.
Yes. From India to Guyana. Yes.
Right. Just to help you out a little bit there, right? They had a G20 meeting in Brazil. Right? And Moody is one of the members of the G20 meeting.
As well,
Biden
yes.
also.
Yeah.
And Biden was he went to the meeting, and after the meeting finished, right? They was looking for Biden to take a picture.
Who went to the meeting? Who you say went to the meeting?
Joe Biden.
Joe Biden, okay, right.
He-
When
he's
was
a
that?
member of the G2.
When was that?
That was yesterday or
Oh.
day before something. I think it
All right,
was
all right.
within
I
2
wasn't
days now,
aware.
because
I
he went
wasn't
to-
aware. I wasn't aware. But go ahead.
He went to
I'll follow up on it. Go ahead.
Guyana
Yeah.
Right, I think he went to Guyana today or something.
Okay.
Right. And when he was in Brazil, they was looking for him to take pictures, with all these members, and they couldn't find Joe Biden.
Okay.
But when they discover he wandered away, and they say he going in the Amazon forest. I don't know if it's a joke or if it's serious, but that apparently they show you what he was on in the bush.
All right.
Right, and they want to know what's going on with Biden.
Yeah,
Right, because they wanted to find out.
they said the man's senile.
They wanted to find out about why he went and signed that thing and gave Ukraine the right to send nuclear long range missile into Russia, and they wasn't happy about that. That is G20 I'm talking about it.
Yeah, okay.
The G20 members, they
Yeah,
have
yeah,
a G20,
yeah,
they have
okay.
a G7, they have a 5, and they have all kind of things.
Yeah.
And
G20 and the G7
from
are
Brazil,
the major ones, yeah.
From Brazil, he went to Guyana, and because one of the reasons why he went to Guyana, right, he went mostly because the population there is of Indian descent, right, of East Indian descent now.
Major.
And he went there because that Guyana is a colony of the British and America. So he can intrude now. You understand what I mean? So, but he went there on behalf of the Indian people and on the oil. But I understand that they make some arrangements, and I think they're gonna put a refinery or something like that in Guyana. So, but they have discussion and thing, and he'll go back and they will finalize what they have to do. That's what I know.
Okay.
Other than that, I don't know. How I hear Mr. Rima saying something, and I hear him back Faisal saying something, but I get it straight from the horse's mouth. That's why I hear, that's why I telling you. Other than that, I don't know.
Okay.
So I just called to give a little light on it now. Okay?
Right. Yes. In fact,
Good.
while you were speaking, I decided to look it up. Yes, you are quite correct. Rio de Janeiro, of course, on November the 18th and 19th, local time, G20 Rio de Janeiro summit was held in Rio de Janeiro, Brazil, and of course hosted by Brazil as the G20
Lula
presidency. Yes, so you're quite right. You're quite right. I wasn't aware. So thanks very much. And that's why. That's why I speak very.
It's pretty big around the world, Everybody wouldn't know nothing.
And all of us.
A little bit there, a little bit,
That's right.
So,
that is what I was.
But make sure that the information that they're giving out is reliable now.
That's
you don't want to know
exactly.
you're giving the wrong information.
Yeah, thank you very much.
And drawing the wrong conclusion. Okay, yeah.
Thank you very much. Yes, and that's the point, exact point I was making, that no piece of information is bad. It is a basis for this discussion. People will disagree from time to time. People may have it wrong as well, and therefore, when you have a very open forum where people can speak, what will happen is that the only thing could benefit is humankind and our own position in terms of making certain that the information we gather and we speak or we regurgitate could withstand scrutiny, and therefore the veracity of which cannot be questioned. I think that is the essence I was trying to convey, and this was a typical case because I was aware
I forget one thing.
that he was in Brazil. Go ahead, my friend.
Lennox, I'm sorry, I forget one thing.
Yeah, go ahead.
Tell the born again Christian guy that Mohammed Afan, the president of Guyana, he studied in India. Okay?
He studied in India. All right, okay. All right, thanks. Yes.
So that's how we know, and everybody know about Guyana because he studied in India.
All right.
Not like how our Prime Minister studied in Africa.
Yeah, well, well, he went for a similar reason as that of Kamala Persad-Bissessar when she became Prime Minister, to see, the motherland, so to speak.
Right.
But he had an additional attachment to India.
Yes,
because he studied there. All right, good. Thanks.
He went and get a diplomat thing in India. That's why.
Okay.
That's different than Kamala.
I
So
see.
born again Christian about Biden telling me nothing. Looking too much at Fox News later.
Yes, thank you very much. Thank you very much for that piece of information. So quite a lot we are learning. So all right. So now that we have all of those pieces together in terms of the issues that we would have discussed surrounding Guyana. Let's go to the lines. I get a chance, of course, to do my evaluation, but that's all right. We always give way to the callers. A pleasant good night. Welcome.
Hello, Mr. Lennox. I'm calling again.
Yes, good night.
I just want to make sure if you hear me clearly.
Yeah, loud and clear, my dear.
Nice. I want to say this.
Yes.
I spoke about the summit in Russia where they gather with BRICS. I ain't talk nothing about G20. I want to get that clear.
Yeah, we are clear on that. That's why I didn't even
because like
that
the caller there before, this one were talking, he was a little confused. As he say, Mr. Rima talk something and then Faizabad talk about G20 something else, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
But I spoke about a decision this Mr. had to make concerning BRICS, right?
Yeah.
That was in Russia.
Russia, yes, you
All
said
right,
that. Yes.
let me get to something else.
Right.
Whenever the Prime Minister Rowley have to go Africa or some African come here or anything with Africa, a lot of your fans on your chat and even on the ground report, right? Them UNC supporters who are Indians, they will say all kind of thing about Rowley and them African and the country go to, and they go bring down all kind of thing. Nobody don't say nothing. I ain't talk the man bad and make all kind of bacchanal how they just talk about Africa and Rowley and the African this and the stupidness he doing there and the stupidness, and they will bring up things from the past where he did go Africa and King Kakahole and all them things, right? Nobody don't say nothing. I only spoke something about this man from India, and as I said a thing about I is a racist and I don't like the man. I just showing all you something about a wolf in sheep clothing to show all you what going on. And them start to say I don't like the man, I is a racist. Well, I tell you.
No, well, I've made it clear. I have made it clear.
Don't this caller from the States start.
Yeah.
I even say the people country have technology, this, that, but it's the man we watching.
Yeah, but I've made it clear.
The man.
I've made it clear.
Right?
I've
so
made it clear.
If all you don't like people to talk about all your Indian people from India, don't be beaten up on the Prime Minister, right? When he thinks. You understand? All of us beat up the man, nobody don't say nothing. I don't say nothing. I find it one-sided.
Right.
And then they're going to say I is a PNM. No, don't be so one-sided. If I say something to advise people alert, okay.
All right.
Check it out. Don't jump to conclusion so nice.
Yeah, you make your point. I get it very, 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 very clear. But I did say that I will not want to entertain any insinuation that you must not speak because somebody may either be in disagreement, one, or that the information may not be as solid as one would have liked. The fact of the matter is that when all of this comes together, people can now make their contributions, and we will end up most likely in such an environment. That matrix provides us with a greater understanding and a consciousness towards, of course, where we should be as a people. That is what this is all about. But let's go to the lines. A pleasant good night. Welcome to the Corridor Transformation. Good night.
Good night.
Good night.
Lennox.
Yes.
Kenrick, how you doing?
Hey.
Yeah. Florida, West Palm Beach.
Thank you very much. Yes.
Lennox, first of all, I don't trust no man. I don't care what they say. I don't trust no man. I don't care what they say or what they say. You know what I mean?
Right.
First of all, one, Raleigh take Sandora over there now to meet Modi, to impress Modi.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Right?
No, it's to impress Trinidad. The intention, he knows that he's impressing anybody, but he will try to do it in such a way so as to impress Trinidad. You notice what he did when he was in. So he was in the Shogam conference. He sent back a picture with, of course, Jindal and the Secretary General of of the Commonwealth, suggesting that somehow she gets an award from he, and that therefore they shouldn't vex because he met with him at the diplomatic center when it was a totally different scenario. She went to India, she did her thing, and they were giving her a lifetime award. Rowley converted that to mean that is justification for him having Jindal, who is before the courts for questionable enrichment. And then, of course, suddenly he is a candidate for the mothballed oil refinery in Trinidad, outside of all of the processes that was established for, of course, application or applying for managing that facility. I just want to make that point. Go ahead.
Yeah, but what I'm saying, he carries Sandora. You know, Sandora, they didn't want to carry. He didn't want. You know.
You get what?
Lennox.
Go ahead. I'm hearing you.
Remember, he carry the Indian woman. Sandora, the Sedu guy, woman.
yeah. Well, you know, I say that that can only be for entertainment purposes.
No entertainment. He carry a woman to meet Modi, man. Introduce him. You know what could happen there? You know, to show him, you know. Indian people, you know, Indian people, and I mean, you never know.
It's a cosmopolitan country, and the Indian community play a significant part. Of course, I am sure that she will play the part as entertaining as it will be. I can assure you.
Yeah, you know what I mean? You never know what kind of entertainment could work there, you never know.
Yeah.
You never know what kind of entertainment could work there, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
you never know.
Right.
You know what I mean? To get his way.
Yeah,
so,
to get his way. Like how we got to Biden. Like how we got to Biden through, of course, that bogus, superficial doctorate organized by his friend. Yeah, in the United States. Yeah. He's that kind of fella.
So carry Sondora. Carry Sondora to meet Moody.
No, I'll take your point.
What could happen there? I mean.
Yeah, I'll take your point. Yeah, that is the intention.
Rich with the line, you know.
Yeah.
I don't want to say.
Yeah, I agree. So it may well be still not deviating from my original point. I'm saying it could be for dual purpose. Dual purpose then. For entertainment on the one hand, and for, of course, attempting to promote that Trinidad and Tobago is a cosmopolitan country and a major component of it are Indians. And she will play that part. And to me, that in itself is entertainment. Yeah.
People do anything for payment.
She has no constituency to say that she's representing Indians in Trinidad. What she?
No.
She has a temple. She's a guru. What? She has no connection. Nobody knew her before she entered.
I don't know how they call that.
Yeah, politics. You know. Good to see you, Rowley. Yeah.
All right, Mr. Lennox.
Okay, yes. Thanks very much for that insight. Very, very, very important point. That while of course it may be for, as I said, for entertainment purposes. I don't want to say licentious, and I don't want to say for sexual gratification. But of course, she being an Indian, Rowley would of course let her tag along in order to, of course, introduce her to Moody or vice versa, and maybe get something like, as I said, what transpired in the United States, where after Biden was able to, of course, after Rowley was able to meet Biden, after that, of course, what I consider to be orchestrated doctorate honorary or honorarium, he was able, of course, to get access to people in the Biden administration. Otherwise, he would not have been able so to do or get. So Rowley is at it again, no doubt. And thank you, of course, for that piece of observation. I think it has a lot of credibility and common sense. Pleasant good night, sir.
Hello.
Yeah, pleasant good night.
Sandra going to translate.
Hindi.
You got to translate Hindi.
Hindi, I see. Okay, right. Okay, nice another. Yeah. I mean, but it seemed to me is a more comical twist to that. But I think the caller before, I think he has a point there that trying to show that there's a great mix in Trinidad, and she clearly wanting to play the part to satisfy, of course, her boss Rowley. Certainly, I'm sure will exhibit all her Indianness to of course attract the attention of Prime Minister Modi from, of course, India. But go ahead, my friend.
Well, Stuart Young couldn't translate, so she had to go there and translate for him.
I hear you. Because see, I'm laughing because I don't know if she could speak the language. I'll have to find out that before I could draw a further conclusion.
Well, you didn't see the woman saying she's a big Hindu, and she went sari and things, right?
Yes, she went sari, but it doesn't mean that she could speak that. I know plenty Indians who wear that and are dumb to the language called Hindi.
Lennox, she got to translate Wajang.
I see. Or is it red coach? Or red coach?
You're right. She and she boss like finger and ring, the two of them just get on the same way.
I hear you,
so she's a good protege. She's a good protege.
Yeah.
This police service, the police commissioner, all of them they. Oh God, boy, it's a shame. 6 of them get released and 5 of them today with extortion, and they have no evidence. What kind of police service we're running in this country, boy?
Yeah.
Them is a gang too.
Yeah, that murder case. I think that murder case was pathetic, boy. Where the state witness turned out to be a hostile witness, and they exonerated her, take her off the charge to come as witness against the others, and then she say, well, listen, I can remember one thing. And that's it. Case done.
She was there and poison in life. She gave her evidence. Like, why? You understand?
Yeah.
People dying of lead poisoning easy these days, isn't it?
Yes.
So that way she get a convenient amnesia. And earlier said them there, I don't know, that boy, oh gosh, boy.
Yeah.
This really falling apart like that. I have no confidence in the police service and earlier especially. Waste of time.
Well, the police service is a reflection or a symptom of the malaise and the toxicity of the society, particularly the leadership. And leadership here is very specific. The government is no example, and therefore anything goes. And you see that, of course, reflected in the amount of murders, young people gravitating to a life of crime. They are not doing well in the educational pursuits, in spite of the huge expenditure in those respective areas, in terms of jobs and availability of jobs. And those who would have done well, no work for them, and they have to migrate and, of course, transfer the skills that they would have learned here to benefit other societies. All of that is as a reflection of myopia on the part of the government led by Christopher Rowley over the last 9 years. Too long. Yes. Yeah, it's that, yeah. Because remember, Dr. Rowley would have institutionalized mediocrity, not meritocracy. Mediocrity. A person who was 12th out of about 15 person on the merit list, you put her there when in fact you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 in front of her. Come on. So what do you expect? You're going to have a collapse of the society. And we, as a population conscious, and these discussions will certainly drive us into that direction and know what we have to do and halt this malaise, halt this rot that is taking place in our society as conscientious, because we have children to come, and children who are looking on to be, of course, leaders in this country when we would have made our ultimate departure.
You know why she was on 12th spot and why she was chosen, because you see the end results.
Yes.
You see the compromising that's going on in with the state and she, especially with the business with inwards.
Yeah.
And what the Privy Council say, why he's not being investigated.
Yeah, immediately Rowley had a responsibility to launch an investigation or ask for the resignation as a punishment, having regard and out of respect for the Privy Council. But instead, he goes to the Parliament and said he's not aware. He's not aware.
Yeah,
just as so, he said that he wasn't aware either of Armand being, of course, banned from a court in the United States for lying. He didn't know that either.
They have to go, Lennox.
Of course, they have to go ultimately. They must go. That is not sustainable. That is not sustainable at all. All right, my friend. A pleasant good night. Welcome back, of course, Mr. Tagarigua.
Yeah, go there?
Yes, loud and clear, my friend. Go ahead.
Well, all right. First to begin with, you see the kind of beautiful women who are in jail? What would you go do with that thing? She don't know how it's done? You ever see that Bollywood dancers and thing or what?
But I'm saying, in the absence of information, when you watch her, you would know that she is not what some people would like her to be, and for what genuinely an argument as to why she is part of that delegation to meet, of course, Moody in Guyana.
And she went to America to Rowley,
right? Yeah.
One of the cousins called Rowley.
Yes.
And he talk about the Guyanese population.
President Knight, of course. Just hold on. I'm dealing with Mr. Tagarigua on the handset. Hold on.
All right, no problem.
Yes.
No problem.
Yeah, the matter is now. Guyana had the same kind of population like Trinidad.
Yes.
Portuguese, Indian, African, Syrian, everything. Same kind of population like this country. It's not fault. Go not run everybody out of the country.
Yes.
So the man who called us Guyana have mostly Indians. You have that wrong.
Right.
Indian and African is the same amount of things.
I did mention that. I probably should have emphasized it as you are emphasizing now, but you're quite right. And I noted that. That would have been a piece of misinformation because of course you had Burnham and all of the promoting of course the African dominance there, even though what is clear is that there is a greater Indian population. That I will accept.
Right now, all the people out of Guyana.
I hear you.
Right? Indians, but they have to run all over the place.
Yeah, definitely, yes.
Right? But they have the same kind of population like Trinidad.
Yeah, the same mix.
Same mix.
Yeah, we were formed, captured by the British, or did I say, in colonial times, in the latter part, after slavery and so on, after 1834, and therefore you had, of course, a different kind of government, and of course that is when the Fatal Razak in 1845 came to Trinidad, the first Indian shipment of indentured laborers. Well, the same thing happened in Guyana. Yes, so you're quite right. The history is around the same time and the same thing. Yes. Yes.
So you call you on that.
Yeah.
I'm only on Richie.
Yeah.
I'm 81 years old.
Yes.
No, Lennox, leave yourself.
Yeah.
Now, when they hand over nothing on she that nobody would want.
I hear you, my friend. It must be so beat up.
I am beat up.
That means you see me, you want to get me in trouble. I go on.
You're talking that talk, I want everybody going off.
Yeah. All right, okay. You're saying that, it's not worth it. It's not worth it to pursue that. That is that too toxic. It's too toxic. Yeah, it is hackneyed. It is the beaten path, and of course, people like fresh thing and that beaten thing. But suppose that is Rowley's forte.
You get the movie
Not yet. All right.
Look for the movie. If I not hear from it today.
Yeah. Okay. I have somebody from America waiting, so we'll have to go.
All right.
Okay then, yes. Sorry about that, caller from the United States. A pleasant good night. Welcome.
Yeah, President, good night, Mr. Lennox.
Yes.
Yes, I enjoy the conversation.
Yes, I know. It's very, should I say, not just amusing. I think amusing may not be the word, but so very, very interesting.
Yeah. So you know, India have a high commission over here. So India already know we have a diversity in the ethnicity in Trinidad, right?
Yes.
The same thing with Guyana, they know. So Modi wouldn't be surprised. But the thing is, well, everybody experienced. Remember the time when PNM had the bazaar and they had the characters and them playing the monkey and they was pulling off the saree of the woman?
Yeah, that skit, yeah, where of
Right.
course, yeah, the desecrated religious a deity connected to the Hindu. Yeah, you're right.
So that was in the public space, so that public knowledge. So you don't think Guyana have a reason why Guyana be so upset because of this man?
Yeah.
Do you think the Indian High Commission didn't see that skit because it was on television?
Yeah.
So who are you trying to fool now to go to try to negotiate? I believe that is the reason why Guyana president and vice president hate this man so much.
Yeah.
So if you look at it, you see he's a hypocrite.
Yeah, but it appears to me that he has this proclivity, this tendency, like he has a predisposition to cause people to hate him. You're gonna hear Maduro just now. You're gonna hear, of course, Trump and their representatives and so on, because Trump get a second bite at the cherry, and I'm sure it is not going to be nice for Rowley and therefore Trinidad and Tobago. And we have to quickly distance ourselves from this administration, Rowley, and of course these miscreants that have coalesced themselves into a criminal enterprise.
Exactly, Mr. Lennox, because let me tell you something, the Elon Musk is Trump right-hand man, and Elon Musk don't like dictators and oppressors.
Yes.
You understand?
Yeah.
He don't like that.
I hear you.
So that conversation between Maduro and Trump will be a very tricky one.
Yeah. And I remember very distinctly, and maybe you could share in that conversation. I hope that I'm not keeping it too long. But here it is when he said that the performance of a government is not defined by an invitation, in that case by Trump to his Mar-a-Lago home in Florida. Remember that when he was rejected as still chair of the CARICOM. And then I remember as well two other things relating to Trump. Trump's ambassador here in Trinidad did say to, of course, all of us that when Stuart Young said that the matter of Delcy Rodriguez did not come up in his private meeting with him at the embassy in Trinidad here on Mali Street, the ambassador had to come out and say no. Stuart Young lied, and he did in fact bring it up. But more significantly, when he went back, when his term of office had been completed and he went back home, the ambassador I'm talking about, we have on record an interview where he said that Trinidad and Tobago leadership seemed to be turning away from America. And of course, but on that occasion, he was saying that it appears that China is their new friend. So again, that doesn't spell well for a Rowley administration being favored by the new Trump administration. We'll see that, of course, as things unfold. But certainly, that is an ominous development. That is why we have to get rid of Rowley as quickly as possible next year in order to make certain that Trinidad could breed freely and all the opportunities to be gained can. I just want to get your views on that before you make your departure.
Yeah, because Mr. Anselm, I say Mr. Anselm, Mr. Lennox.
Yes.
Let me tell you, when a public figure, especially a prime minister, seeing something in the public domain, right? You have to be very careful of what you're saying, because everything on high side. they have that on records. What you see,
Yes.
they're going on back. They're leaving America and they turn into China.
Yes.
Now, remember last time when Trump was in power, he put tariff on products from China.
Yes, and he
So,
vowed to do so again.
Yeah, so you know the relationship is a very tricky, sticky relationship, dicey.
Yes.
And Rowley already placed himself as putting his faith into China.
So, caller, just hold on. I have another caller on the system. Yeah, go ahead. United States.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I was coming out my bathroom and I just catch a little piece of Arima. Sorry for saying this, but tell Arima, as she hearing, that is she Prime Minister who called Trinidadians stupid and they're foolish. Right?
All right, thanks. Because I normally do not allow callers to cut in other callers. But I see it was short and I understand what you're saying. Is that it?
Right.
All right, okay then. We can realize you're coming out of the bathroom. All right. Okay then. Yes, go ahead, caller from the States. You know what it is? It's another caller from the States, incidentally, but he was short and therefore, sorry about that interruption. I don't normally allow it, but go ahead.
Yeah, but that's okay, Mr. Lennox. So you see, the thing is, we now in Trinidad have to understand, you see, the PNM supporters will tooth and nail to fight that all the wrongdoings that Rowley doing, and they try to defend it. And they give this man the opportunity and the will to do as he pleases. So that is why this man comes on national television, in parliament, anywhere he goes and he speaks this utter rubbish. Because he know how he have the backing of his PNM supporters.
Yeah.
You see, if we don't understand that this man's tactics is not to improve Trinidad and the life of the average citizen, he set out to get a richer. Because wealth is very grand, and in this 9 years, we don't know the type of wealth Rowley have right now. So we could call him an oligarch right now, so he don't care. So at the end of the day, when the new election time come, people come out and vote for UNC.
Yes, indeed.
For a better
Mr.
future,
Cruz, just
for
hold on. We
better
just have an American call. We finish it now. Yes.
No problem, Lennox. No problem.
Yeah, go ahead. You're concluding. Go ahead, Mr. United States.
Yeah, concluding now. Sorry for taking so long. So for a better life.
No, I kept you back.
Better,
yeah, so don't be sorry at all. It was very informative and interesting. But go ahead, conclude.
Right. All right, Mr. Lennox. So, guys, next year I coming on to vote for UNC. So you guys don't worry.
All right.
I be in there too. So, guys, let me vote for UNC for a better life for yourself, a better future for your children, and for be going back to be the gem of the Caribbean. Trust me, vote UNC. Yellow is the code. Look on and listen,
But
Mr.
boy, he sound like a true Trinidadian day, boy. Yellow is the code. Yes, indeed. Pleasant good night, Mr. Santa Cruz, of course, our external correspondent, so to speak. Go ahead.
Lennox, good night to you and to everybody. Lennox, these people have me laughing here tonight, Here, man, they really take the Mickey out of Sindora, You see what happened to Rowley? He took Sindora because she have 10 pounds of Sindora on her head to create some kind of impression for Moody. But he don't know Moody gonna look down at somebody like her.
Window dressing,
Yes, window dressing, and you see, but a caller about two callers ago, I think it's the one before Mr. Tagarikwa. Okay. He said that Lennox, the same thing that I was thinking. The man was saying she got to translate Wajang. You understand? But wait until they see her behavior, because when you're accustomed behaving like that, you can't control yourself, Right? Wait until they see her behavior and then they will know what she's made of. Because
I can tell you this, knowing how people are so sensitive to the kind of, should I say, debilitating representation of the PNM. Best, I would be surprised if Moody get a copy of a typical presentation in and out of the parliament of this woman. I telling you that. I would be surprised. He would know her before she would have even been introduced to him. But go ahead.
Because they have to send the listings of all who's going.
That's right.
Right? And they keep forgetting that we have a high commissioner down here who roundly insulted.
That's right.
Who roundly insulted with the vaccines.
Right.
Okay? And they want to talk about Moody this and Moody that. But Moody not to beg nobody for nothing, Lennox.
Of course not.
You remember Moody was the one. He was the one that offered the Caribbean vaccines.
That's right.
He was the one.
Diplomacy.
And is
good to see
that's
India.
right.
Yes,
and it was Mayor Motley who gave the rotten gut lying lunatic some out of it. But they didn't want it.
1,500 doses, yeah.
Yeah, and he not going to beg. He not going to do this. They could say what they want about Moody. They can't put their foot in Moody's shoe.
Ass of himself,
And I am absolutely sure the High Commissioner here will inform him of all of them behavior if they feel they're going there and getting away with anything. But you see, let me tell you something, Lennox. Some people are so negative, right? They like that is all they eat, and they breed negativity.
Yeah, I tell you, the man has some kind of DNA. Some kind he born with that kind of blight, and
it's a blight.
On the whole population.
Lennox, you hit the nail on the head. They're born with a blight. And don't care, all the water in the River Jordan can't wash it away.
No,
all the water.
He's destined for hell.
Yeah, they have to go to they have to go to the grave. It's from the tomb, it's from the womb to the tomb with a blight.
Yeah,
they can't change at all.
Too much of a safe place. He has to go straight to the gates of hell.
Yeah, but Lennox, we will soon hear about Cinderella. We will hear about all her activities up there, and you see, he will come back, and you will hear how much things he did.
Of course,
I don't very much, Lennox. Moody is going to speak with him.
I could anticipate the kind of night things he will come with and so on and so on. You would swear that he didn't say that. Wait until 2027. Because the years in between will be horrible for Trinidad and Tobago. This evil opportunistic
Mr. Doom and Gloom.
Yes.
Anyway, Lennox, have a good night. We'll chat again tomorrow.
Same to you. That was, of course, Miss Santa Cruz. People, of course, it's 12 minutes past 10 o'clock. Of course, we have exhausted the time that we officially should be here. Very interesting indeed. Of course, I feel I could go until 12, but no. But that is only wishful thinking. Stick a pin. Of course, don't forget we have the Shouter Baptist Learning Institute. Yes, we have an institution where, of course, we have this annual hamper and usually back to school as well one time. But I say hamper because of Christmas and toy drive. If you can put a little toy as well, we will appreciate that. But of course, call the number that you're accustomed calling, 337-6940. There's another number there. You can try that, but if it didn't get through, then of course that one. And if you wish to speak to me directly, well, of course you can call that number as well, 337-6940. Day or night, I will of course accommodate, as well as my assistant. Yes, we do a lot of hard work here, and of course you would appreciate that time, energy, efforts. Even though of course we do not have the resources to meet all of the requirements that we would like in order to, of course, deliver to you. A pleasant good night. Welcome. Pleasant good night. Welcome. Pleasant good night.
Hello, good evening.
Yes, good evening, my friend.
Wagwan, sir.
Well, you know, as could be in the circumstance, Moody is in Guyana, the Prime Minister of India. We have just been having a discussion as to his presence, and there is a CARICOM summit with India there.
The lady from Jamaica that chaired the meeting, Kamina Johnson Summit.
Okay.
Yeah, man, she chaired the meeting.
Great.
So Yeah. So how things, man?
Well, of course, as could be, we continue to struggle. The situation is only deteriorating further, but there's a saying that things have to get worse before it get better. Well, once the present administration is there, we know worse is our forte, if not our portion. But of course, we awaited the time when we will rise from the phoenix. The present administration having, of course, burned Trinidad and Tobago to the ground economically, socially, psychologically, and otherwise. And of course, our relationship with even CARICOM countries, including yours in Jamaica, of course, has been one that leaves much to be desired. And Dr. Rowley's presence as chairman in his turn did not make any significant impact, having regard, of course, to the fact that it was fundamentally during COVID. But of course, his efforts to treat with the CSME, the CARICOM single market and economy agenda, when he talked about that in 2015, certainly it has made very little strides. Countries continue, of course, to bar fellow let's say CARICOM country residents from coming in for one reason or another. So to say that he has made any impact, even though he boasted that he would bring that back on the agenda, has not materialized and is over 9 years now. So, and he is definitely on his way out come next year. Yeah, oh boy, we seem to always be having some kind of connection issue here. I'm seeing a straight line. I'm not seeing, of course, the line that suggests that somebody is speaking or has the capacity to speak, or we have a connection. It appears that we are back.
Yeah, hello?
Yeah.
Yeah, man.
Okay.
I remember 2015, the heads of government state was in Jamaica, in Montego Bay. They speak about the way and the reform of CARICOM movements in Sugar Ramos right through the whole CARICOM region. But it hasn't been as bright as how they come and speak. You know, when they come and speak, they speak all the nice things. And when they get back to the country, it's a different kettle of fish.
Yeah.
So they always speak the nice things at the heads of government meeting, and as soon as they leave and take back the plane, it's just normal stuff. There's no agreement. It is on paper, I know, but outside of on paper, it is not working.
Yeah, more of the same. But would you have been aware that I think, if memory serves me right, I think on 2 occasions, some Jamaicans came here and they were kept at the airport in what I consider very inhospitable conditions, and then had to be returned. They had to return to, of course, in disgrace to Jamaica. You remember that? So that ought to have been a big thing in Jamaica at that point in time, when they were saying, well, what is the meaning of this CSME, the free movement of members of the state from different states who are resident? Why? And of course, the whole question of getting employment in the respective states, even though you may not be a resident of that particular state, but because of the Chaguaramas agreement. All of that was spoken, but in practice, it appears that more of the same, this kind of, I wouldn't call it tribal, but certainly nationalistic fervor that, of course, will keep people out, almost xenophobic, because I mean, you don't, with an agreement like that, you don't consider Jamaican or Grenadian or Vincentian somebody that is outside of the region, but you have this kind of xenophobic tendency by the immigration department. The argument has been that the immigration officials, those persons, need to be upgraded in terms of their training and their readiness for, of course, the CSME, which also means the not just the integration of the countries, but the migration of labor from one state to the next. But it appears we have not reached that stage of maturity as yet. What are your views? Boy, again the straight line again. So I hope that he is hearing. but is unable to respond because of the internet connection, it appears. So we'll give him a little more time to see whether or not we could recommunicate. If not, I'll have to move on because we're already 19 minutes past 10 o'clock. Let me give him an opportunity to respond. In the meantime, let me try to finish, of course, that video that I started on the question of forex and get the Munilal involved in the whole exercise, to give you an idea as to why it is that we are so short on foreign exchange in this country, because of the myopic focus and the tendency of this government to believe that big is best, and that to be rich, those are the ones that to, of course, control these resources, and so they are the ones alone must get it. But as a result of that, and the people who are unpatriotic, then of course you have disaster taking place. Yes, I was going to start the video. Go ahead.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, go ahead.
Me did hear the question now.
Oh.
Yeah, me did hear the question.
Oh, I was making a point about what you felt about the whole question of the CSME, and the fact that it might have been an uproar in Jamaica, that the persons who were coming here, and even as performers and so on, and what is the general view of the ordinary person in Jamaica? Right here in Trinidad, of course, we are not satisfied, but people are silent on it. But I'm sure Jamaicans who have been the victim would have been very vociferous on this matter.
Yeah, man.
Go ahead.
Hello?
Go ahead.
Yeah. I remember the Shanique Mary case you're speaking of.
Right.
The country, as in Jamaican citizens, was uproar. They has been disapprove of based on how we had these treaty and these meeting, and even when we speak about the movements of goods and trade and people, it's merely like the journalists them only have free movements, because when I am out here and I speak to the lawyers and the journalists, it's so difficult for the common citizen move across the CARICOM without any antagonization, or even within the ports in terms of the mere rough treatment what he has to go through.
Yeah, boy. Yeah. Okay, so it was an issue there. I am sure it still is, because they have not, in my view, have reached anywhere in terms of let's say smoothing out the ruffles in that spoken and signed arrangement for the free movement as part of the deepening the integration process of labor and people and people from one island to the next. So do you think we are far from, of course, getting a common passport, for example? Because I mean that is the next stage of the game. If you're talking about the free movement of your people, bet you have one passport for the entire region. What's your view in that, on that, or on the view of persons that you may be encounter with at this time or before? Oh gosh, the one line again come back. Boy, oh boy. We are getting this trouble with the Jamaican connection. All right, it seems as though we have the line suggesting that we are back. Yes. Tell me.
Yeah. Hello?
Yeah, did you hear my question?
Yeah, man, it was surrounding about the CARICOM passport.
Right, yes. What do you think about that? Yeah, and
I had a CARICOM passport tonight. I did have a Jamaican passport, but after times passes by, I changed it to a CARICOM passport. So that passport should have given you the leeway right across the CARICOM based on it's not a background or it's not a country individual. It's a region passport, yeah. So it should have given you a little lighter chance to go through if you does not have a criminal record. And the criminal record, if you did have one, it would have put you in a more ample spot to go across the movement. But unlike me now, which I had a clean record and a clean passport, and there is no infringement right across or even.
But is it working? Well, from your experience, you have no trouble in getting into any country that you wish to visit with the CARICOM passport? But I know of very few people who would have pursued a CARICOM's passport, because in Trinidad, for example, they want a visa on their Trinidad and Tobago passport to go maybe the UK, where that is permissible, Canada and the United States, etc. I get the red line. Sorry, I get the straight line again, people. A green straight line, a green dotted line. Okay, now it is active. Yeah. So you want to conclude?
We all. Yeah, we all know say that outside of the CARICOM we need a visa. But I had noticed that some over in Guyana, the British government are going to give them a leeway about next year, sometime next year, so that if they have a Guyana citizenship passport, they can come and visit in England.
Okay.
Those are the feedback what I see going on in relation to Guyana.
Right.
But for Jamaican, it's a total different kettle of fish.
Yeah.
Because when we look at it from a point of view back then in the 40s, Windrush generation, and people who were born before 1962, before Jamaica gained independence, they should have a Windrush free movements, because they are older than 62 years of age, so they should have the time to can move to England because they were born before.
That straight dotted green line has returned, people. But this contribution, I think, is so invaluable that I'm prepared to wait to, of course, hear and to re-engage, of course, our Jamaican counterpart. Go ahead. See that. Go ahead.
Yeah, man. Yeah, as I was saying that the Windrush generation, remember that we are the people who leaves and go and build Britain. So back then, the person who was born before 1962, before Jamaica gained independence, they should have the right to can go and visit their relative or even go in England. Outside of that, if it is that you're born when Jamaica gained independence and we had cut ties with the British in terms of independence, we know that the Privy Council is the final appellate court, but we're not looking on that side right now.
Okay. All right. Yeah.
Hello?
Because, yes. I heard you very distinctly. Well, any additional thing, because we want to wind up now. Thanks for, of course, your usual very valuable contribution coming out of Jamaica.
All right, then. Thanks very much until tomorrow here, and take good care. And listeners, just be safe until tomorrow here.
Yes, man. Yes. Thanks very much for putting that plug to us, for us, of course. And don't forget, of course, people, you can get us. Those of you who are on prefer Facebook, I want to tell you, you get us on Love Lavender. We have gone back to Love Lavender. We don't have, of course, a page called we don't have a page called The Corridor Transformation. We don't have one because that was hacked, and we are yet to regularize or adjust that matter. So we're gonna get some static on the Facebook page, but certainly if you go YouTube, I see that the people have switched there. We have a lot of course, callers, a lot of listeners, a lot of viewers during the course of the program, and subsequently over 1,000 persons per night will, of course, be will be viewing by morning, and of course by the end of the week maybe close to 2,000, 3,000 persons, of course, and it can only get better when we improve our circumstance in terms of the technology. That being as well, of course, don't forget, people, of course, we have the Shouter Baptist Learning Institute's Christmas hamper and toy drive. Please call, of course, the number that you see flashing across the screen. We will, of course, be very grateful to put, of course, smiles on quite a number of children. We have more than last year, and that we have to cater for now. I think last year we catered for about 75 to about 140 persons. Now we already have a list of over 150 and counting. Of course, this is not the whole of George Street, Nelson Street, Piccadilly Street, Duncan Streets, even parts of Charlotte Street, and of course the parts of Belmont, and of course the Harp, what they call the Harp, and of course Mango Rose, and of course the Laventille foothills. Of course, people as far as the Beetham and the Silats, are also catered for. So we're talking about quite a densely populated area with quite a large contingent, I should say, of young people and families who have been, of course, at the, should I say, at the lean end of the economic scale. Let me repeat that. At the lean end of the economic scale, they are catching their ant and everything else. So people, please support us. Once again, the Shouter Baptist Learning Institute. We'll put up something at the end of the broadcast. Every night I will do something and leave it up for a little 30 minutes or so that you get an appreciation and will respond, because it's the last thing that you would have been subjected to on the program, and therefore we hope this is the first thing you will do when you get the opportunity, and that is to say, call my assistants or call that number, and of course we will be very appreciative of whatever contribution you would wish to make. That be as it may, let me go straight, of course, to Munilal and of course that video on the whole question of Forex, where it has gone, and that is a stereotypical exemplification of how our Forex was mismanaged in circumstances where the government sought to deplete, and not just deplete, but generate policies and programs to prevent the augmenting of foreign exchange. I'm talking here about the mothballing and closing down of Petrotrin and the non-availability of the oil refinery that, of course, Imbert ended up saying was a net earner of foreign exchange. What that means? It means that, therefore, that they have deliberately, by their policy, prevented foreign exchange from coming into the country by that mechanism, and at the same time decided to, of course, generate vanity projects and direct funds to NiQuan, 450 million and counting, having regard to some of the legal and other ramifications of that venture that has failed. It has blown up. And look at the blowing up scenario at the end of this clip, and look at, of course, NiQuan and Rowley, of course, consistent in your face as the bearer of evil, and of course his four horsemen of the Trinidad and Tobago apocalypse, a total disaster and endangerment. That is the Rowley administration. I'm not going to wind up yet, except of course to share with you the rest of this clip.
The rating to go down even lower by December.
Today, we saw on the front page of a newspaper a headline, NiQuan sends home 75. There is a issue here because another media, I think, is reporting 80, but 75 or 80, this is the headline of the newspaper. And this has been another tragedy where this country and the taxpayers have been robbed, have been slaughtered, have been brutalized, not once, but twice over the same deal. You will recall that the World GTL plant, gas to liquid plant, under the PNM government, I believe, of Mr. Manning, that included Dr. Rowley. That cost in a deal, the cost of that plant moved from $165 million US to $400 million US with cost overruns under Ken Julian, Malcolm Jones, and one Lenny Saith. That project moved from 165 million US to 400 million US. 7 4s, 28. So 2.8 billion Trinidad and Tobago dollars for a plant that collapsed, the financing collapsed. When the international partners didn't want to pay back the loan, Petrotrin had to pay back the loan, and Petrotrin had to pay between the loan and the interest almost $5 billion, and that crashed Petrotrin and the energy sector in Trinidad and Tobago under a Manning administration. Dr. Rowley comes now, we closed down the refinery, they mothballed the refinery. You know, now they're mothballing NiQuan. Why don't they mothball the PNM? I think we should mothball the PNM in the next election. That's a nice term. Put them in the same state you know. But what is instructive here is when Dr. Rowley opened this NiQuan plant on March 8, 2021, hear what Dr. Rowley had to say, and I quote, "The government is expected to receive $2 billion in taxes and statutory payments over the life of the project. NiQuan's investment represents the first major private investment in the downstream energy sector in recent times." Peter Rowley said that on March 8, 2021. Well, all fall down. NiQuan has gone the same way as Scandals, was it? Sandals, sorry. Has gone the same way. But unlike Sandals and Scandals, this took away money. Because in this deal, a plant that cost the taxpayer 400 million US or 2.8 billion TT was sold to NiQuan, a fellow named Ainsley Gill. We know him well. The less said, the better. He calls himself the chief visionary officer, you know. Not chief executive officer. We didn't have a vision to see this coming. He's the chief visionary officer in NiQuan. But we knew him. He was a lobbyist in Washington. All of us knew him. We put on jacket and tie and meet him. Came down here, told them he opening plant and so on. Went and secured money. The government gave away this 2.8 billion for 35 million United States dollars. Right? Which is about 200 million TT or so. So they gave it away to him on the understanding that the government will hold shares and will get the profits from this great deal. What profit we get now? There is no profit. They're going into receivership. And I like the term they use when they take all the money and gone, you know. They say, well, we're sorry to tell you, but we are in the asset preserving silent mode. That means we boss. I mean, what language? We are in the asset preserving silent mode. Now, if you say that in a parlor, that means the parlor closed down. Huh? So I want to tell you two people selling on the side of the road, anytime they close down, they're in the asset preserving silent mode. They said that they are mothballing the gas to liquids plant. But what is instructive is in this deal, they still owe the taxpayer and the government 21 million United States dollars. So another, let's say 7 to 14, another 150 million TT dollars gone. Look how we're talking now. 150 million TT dollars gone in what NiQuan owes a state company for gas. 35 million US. We don't know if the government received that yet. We have to ask that question. We don't know. 35 million you sell it for. Is worth you did pay in loan $2.8 billion for it. And that is how the money has gone and squandered and been squandered. Dr. Rowley has nothing to show. All the traveling, when we raise the issue of his traveling, he said he gets $17 billion traveling. Which 17 billion? Where you get that? Where that come from? We asked him, tell us where it come from. What investment you attracted in traveling? When he travels, he go to Australia to buy boat. When he travels, he go to boardrooms all over the country to talk and play golf. Boston and Ireland, he went recently. He was Boston, he went to Ireland, I believe, for vacation, and he played golf in the PGA golf course that will host the upcoming Ryder Cup. So that's a big thing for the Prime Minister, you know. He played golf on the course that will host the Ryder Cup. Well, hallelujah for that. We're happy. But that doesn't bring any investments. That doesn't create any jobs. And the NiQuan is another scandal that we must investigate.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. Of course, I think we are finished yet. Let us go. Oh, yeah. Yeah, leave it in the background. Yes, it blew up, people. NiQuan blew up. Of course, we have come to the end of tonight's program. Have a wonderful rest of the night. Of course, don't forget tomorrow morning, the ground report, Andy, Mikey, and myself as we continue, of course, with these and other topics. Remember, of course, tomorrow night we will be back here at 8 o'clock, and we will continue, of course, this, but with the night, with a focus on NiQuan to show how blighted this man is, and to, of course, focus as well on the diversions to try to divert our attention from, of course, the $2 or $3 billion missing yes, $2 or $3 billion that is missing. The, of course, situation with the Auditor General, the situation, of course, with Vincent Nelson, and that setup created by Rowley and, of course, Al-Rari, and that, of course, indemnity agreement. Yes, we have to visit that. Those are the pernicious, those are the significant focus we must, because we must build a level of animosity, a level of anathema against this government, so that when we go to the polls, we must be well riled up to get there early. And even though all cannot vote at the same time, wishing and hoping and insisting that you vote together with everybody, and the entire number or the list that is associated with a constituency. You're talking about the voter list. Everybody there who are qualified must go and vote. And therefore, you young people who are 18 this year and who will be 18 next year before the elections, you have an opportunity, of course, to save your country, because the country you save will be your own, Trinidad and Tobago, against, of course, a marauding bunch of opportunistic political parasites who have, of course, coalesced into an organization called the PNM that is a criminal enterprise that is so toxic and has weaponized itself against the people that we have a duty and responsibility to jettison them ultimately. And that should be the order of the day. And as one caller said, yellow is the code. Yellow is the reason why we know we can do better, must do better. And under Kamala Persad-Bissessar and the UNC, we have no choice, because we have seen what is possible under a UNC administration led by Kamala Persad-Bissessar. So have a wonderful rest of the night.
Yes, one Christmas Eve, casually I was walking down the street. One Christmas Eve, casually I was walking down the street. I was attracted by the voice of a little boy, as he held his mother's hands, telling her his plans. What do you think the conversation could be? He said, listen, Mama, I want you to tell Santa Claus to bring a trumpet and a concertina for me. I am lonely, cause there's no children nearby me. Ma, you don't know how happy your son would be. She looked at him very sad as the water filled her eyes, to realize that she hadn't the answer for his prize. She was so worried, yes, so worried and so confused, as they strolled along the street, no shoes on his feet. While they walked, he continued to repeat, as he pleaded, listen, Mama, I want you to tell Santa Claus to bring a trumpet and a concertina for me. I am lonely, cause there's no children nearby me. Ma, you don't know how happy your son would be. Christmas morning, liming with my friends and family, greeting everyone around, eating, dancing, getting down, spending week Christmas in Guyana, watching all the little children running up and down, playing excitedly with their toys, making sure we get we share of curry, goat and rum, Chocolate cards and dominoes with the boys. Yes, man. There's nothing like me home on Christmas morning. Everybody there soca dancing. Masquerade band coming down. Mother Sally prancing wrong. Spending week Christmas in Guyana. Merry Christmas. Drinking ginger beer, jumping, winding up the boomsy in and out. Sneaking in the kitchen to see what grandma cooking. Putting something hot inside me mouth. Ow! There's nothing like me home on Christmas morning. Garlic pork and black fruit cake baking. Plenty sorrel and mobby, ice apple and enough sweet tea. Spending we Christmas in Guyana. Ho, ho, ho! Merry Christmas! Hey, Captain Paul, how black
the World GTL plant, gas to liquid plant, under the PNM government, I believe, of Mr. Manning, that included Dr. Rowley. That cost in a deal, the cost of that plant moved from $165 million US to $400 million US with cost overruns under Ken Julian, Malcolm Jones, and one Lenny Sate. That project moved from 165 million US to 400 million US. 7 4s, 28. So 2.8 billion Trinidad and Tobago dollars for a plant that collapsed, the financing collapsed. When the international partners didn't want to pay back the loan, Petrotrin had to pay back the loan, and Petrotrin had to pay between the loan and the interest almost $5 billion, and that crashed Petrotrin and the energy sector in Trinidad and Tobago under a Manning administration. Dr. Rowley comes now, we closed down the refinery, they mothballed the refinery. You know now they're mothballing NiQuan? Why don't they mothball the PNM? I think we should mothball the PNM in the next election. That's a nice term. Put them in the same state, you know? But what is instructive here is when Dr. Rowley opened this NiQuan plant on March 8, 2021, hear what Dr. Rowley had to say. And I quote, "The government is expected to receive $2 billion in taxes and statutory payments over the life of the project. NiQuan's investment represents the first major private investment in the downstream energy sector in recent times." Peter Rowley said that on March 8, 2021. Well, all fall down. NiQuan has gone the same way as Sandals, sorry. Course that will host the upcoming Ryder Cup. So that's a big thing for the Prime Minister, you know. He played golf on the course that will host the Ryder Cup. Well, hallelujah for that. We're happy. But that doesn't bring any investments. That doesn't create any jobs. And the NiQuan is another scandal that we must investigate.